welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. I'm
And
Charles.
hey, what's up? Charles is here. I am so excited to do this one. I feel like it's been a minute since we did one, but we're talking about Poison Ivy from 1992 with Drew Barrymore and Sarah Gilbert and
Yeah,
Tom Skerritt, the
this
weird dad.
this was this was a movie that actually got made.
Yes, directed by Kat Shea. Yeah. Um yeah, I know. We've really been on our like questionable 90s current day themes but like are such good films kicks. So before this we had Fear and then we had The Crush and now we have Poison Ivy and I want to do Single White Female. I think
Oh,
we
I
talked
love
about.
that movie.
So that's I think going to be next. So I'm really excited. So this is really all about female empowerment. is what I think because at the end, it's usually like it's a very like empowering kind of story. We should do Thelma and Louise too.
Oh my God, we have to.
I know, like there's so many great. We're gonna just keep on this kind of theme, I guess, the ones that we do together, the episodes we do together. Um, but yeah, what have you been up to lately? What have you been watching? Have you been watching or like reading anything interesting?
So I've been in this weird funk on YouTube where I've been looking up videos of giant squid. Um,
What?
okay, so apparently, like a giant squid was not filmed like on camera until like the year 2013, and so
What?
like they have all these like amazing like deep sea like videos of like people like filming giant squid, and they're like 20 plus feet long, and they're pretty terrifying.
Wait, so how come no one got them on film before 2013?
Oh, because they live like pretty deep in the ocean, and
Oh.
like like carcasses have been like washing up on like the beaches for like centuries, but
Oh. And they've never been able to like film one or see one live.
yeah, and then like within the last like 10 years, like they've like gotten like 4 or 5 like like videos.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So
That's cool. Oh, I kind of want to see that. There is a weird I also watch like those weird like nature kind of videos. Like I get into like a K-hole, because then it like
yeah.
starts recommending you like more things and I'm like, okay, okay. And I really like watching cheetah hunting videos. So
Oh
like
yeah.
if
Oh, those are
anyone
great.
knows any good ones, like
Yeah.
make a YouTube playlist and share it. Because I love watching like big cats hunting and like safari videos. Like those are always cool, but and like moms and like cubs and like all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But yeah, oh my gosh, that's so interesting. But I was just gonna say, like, I was watching Planet Earth the other day. I think I was watching the one about like the lions and cheetahs and stuff like that, and I
Mhm.
was like, can you imagine being a kid now and having this kind of like wildlife show? Because when we were growing up we had the ones from the 80s. They were cool, but now they're
Yeah.
so detailed and like they're HD, they're so close. I'm
Yeah.
like, how did they film this? And they like beautiful voiceovers, David Attenborough like perfectly explaining everything.
Yeah. Well, we had David Attenborough back then too, but like, he, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just, it feels like there's also that series on Netflix called Night on Earth, I think,
Oh
which is
yeah.
like just all of like animals that like, you know, come out at night.
Yeah.
And like the photography is just so awesome.
It's
Yeah,
incredible
yeah,
what they can do now. It really is. So it's if you have not seen any of those shows, like they're definitely so awesome. Like just even see a lot of animals that we wouldn't even see in the actual world. Like I think they caught the snow leopard, like things that no one's ever been able to see on film.
yeah,
And then they caught some another like few animals or like different patterns that they make that we've never seen, we've heard about. Like, it's really cool. So yeah, that's awesome. So that's what you've been watching.
yeah, yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I I have just I have discovered the monstrosity that is Bachelor Nation.
Oh my
Um,
God. Charles got sucked into Bachelor Nation. This is what quarantine that's still lasting when you get to like the end of the internet.
yeah,
I'm on the Love Island train, so look, I'm right there with you, like at my shame level. But
I got to the point where I was just like, well, I mean, I've never seen Bachelor in Paradise, so why don't I just watch the season of that and see what happens? And so I did, and then but when you watch Bachelor in Paradise, you don't really have any like like reference to like who these people are. So I was like,
yeah, because they expect that you've been watching, so I think that like they think that you know already
yeah, and
their history and like all that, like the challenge.
yeah,
Like I
yeah,
picked up on the challenge late this season, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I haven't been watching it for like 10 fucking years,
yeah.
so I have no idea what the beefs are." And like, oh, they dated. Oh, okay, they're married now. Okay, like it's just really weird. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's these people are. I never realized how big it was because like all these people are like verified on both Twitter and Instagram,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah. It's a big deal.
like they all live in Los Angeles now. So like,
Yeah, it's like a big deal. It's like a definite kind of like a whole like ecosystem within itself. It's
yeah,
really strange. Yeah, I Love Island. I don't think is quite like that, but I think I watch the UK ones mostly, and I think I'm not. We're not in the UK, but I think in the UK they're all like a big deal there. Like they're
oh
all
okay,
verified. Like they do like ads, like
hmm.
for clothes or like whatever it is. But yeah, so they're trying to do it here. Trying to keep up with it, it's whatever. It's not, we have sensors, like it's
Yeah,
not going to be as cool, but yeah, so I'm excited that I watched Poison Ivy just now. I mean, I've seen it before, but I'm excited to kind of like get into it again and like kind of look at it from another point of view now
yeah.
that I'm like, kind of dissecting stuff. So what are your first thoughts on it, Charles? When did you first see it?
So I knew about this movie, but I hadn't really seen it before.
Oh,
Um,
before I told you just now, like you'd never completely seen it?
no, I think I might have seen like watched like a section of it like at some point,
Oh.
but I had not watched the whole thing from like beginning to end.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay. Cool.
so so I guess like my first thought was it sort of felt like the it sort of kind of felt like movie Parasite, like just in terms of like
Oh
story.
yeah.
Um, and it but I have to say this kind of story is like one of my favorites. The story of like kind of an outsider who like works their way into a family
Yeah.
and just basically completely destroys them. So
Yeah.
like
It is
um
really cool. I
yeah,
do also like that kind of story as well. Like, and it's also kind of weird too when it's like when it's the other way around, like it's like we're gonna talk about single white female and also almost like the crush. Like
yeah,
someone comes into like this already pre-existing like ecosystem and like they fixate on them and then they kind of like tear their family apart through them. Like it's still really same with like Fear too.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
how the family got involved eventually in the end, and they were just like all. It was just yeah, it's a really weird dynamic when there's like one family
yeah.
that you're like dealing with. But
Um,
yeah, it's
this also reminded me of the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
oh yeah, God, I
Um,
haven't seen that in a really long time.
I believe that the motivation in that movie is like revenge based instead of like just you guys have stuff that I want.
Yeah,
So but um um
that's cool though.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
means you've just seen it now.
mhm,
Like fully and like known that it was like did you know that Drew Barrymore was in it before or you just
yes,
like
yeah,
yeah okay yeah I was gonna say because I've seen I mean I was gonna say for my first time I saw it I rented this when Netflix was like discs
oh wow, okay,
and did the mail away because I remember hearing about it and they were like oh Poison Ivy is this really good like early Drew Barrymore movie and I was like okay cool so then I ordered it and I saw it and I probably watched it like maybe twice, I guess, when I had it.
okay,
And then, I sent it back, but I hadn't seen it because it's never on like streaming. Like you never
yeah,
see it on like Netflix or like
yeah.
I don't think it's on Prime, is it?
I don't think so. So I when you told me you wanted to do this movie, I searched through Prime and Hulu and Netflix and YouTube, and it just was not there.
Yeah.
So,
It's one of the sleepers. It's almost like an Iraqi film. It's like a lot of people who've seen it have either seen it on like YouTube, it might have been uploaded, it might be on some streaming site somewhere. Like, I don't know, but a lot of people already know it because it's kind of a
yeah.
cult film. I bought the DVD of this because it was like $4 or something.
Oh, okay, nice.
I was like, sweet. I also bought The Crush too.
Okay,
So
cool.
I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna buy these because sometimes people are like, oh, why do you have DVDs? I'm like, because some things are never on streaming. Like
Yeah.
Larry Clark's Kids isn't on streaming. A lot of times, like some other like SLC Punk is never on streaming. Sometimes it's on Netflix, but
Mm.
it's like not enough for me to like. There are movies that I want to own, like Larry Clark's Bully
I
too.
also, a couple weeks ago, I sort of got the urge to watch the movie California,
Oh, I
and
have that.
oh, you do? Okay, because I was having trouble trying to find it.
Yeah, I think it was on Prime,
Oh, okay.
or it actually might actually be maybe not Netflix, but it's somewhere because I was like, oh, this is on Hulu, or like I was really surprised to actually see it. There's another film that he did called Too Young to Die with Juliette Lewis, Brad
Oh,
Pitt.
really?
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
like
good.
the same too. Like they've done a few things together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Um, I was thinking about Brad Pitt the other day. I mean, I'm never not thinking about Brad Pitt, but I mean like his movies. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, that's right. He did this, he did that. Like some weird movies that he did in like the 2000s. I was watching that CNN like documentary of the movies,
Mhm.
which is really cool. Like goes decade by decade, and they had like Brad Pitt in there. They had a few actors like somewhat, but they were showing the movies that they came from, and I was like, oh yeah, like Tom Hanks was in a whole bunch of movies, like
Yeah.
Philadelphia, and like they were going through all those. And then in the 2000s they had like Ocean's 11, and like how that was a big deal that they were all in that and everything. So yeah, it was kind of weird. um
Did they do three Ocean's movies before?
didn't they do what, 11, 12, and 13?
Yeah, I think so.
And then they did Ocean's 8, which is the one that has all the women, right?
Yeah.
Back though, it
Yeah.
was like Ocean's 8. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing now. I think they're doing another guy one, like probably, or maybe they're gonna
Okay.
have them both in one, like they're gonna blend the two. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I also have, this is a real story of female empowerment. I would love a male version of this story, like a
Oh,
male,
yeah.
like two men. I feel
Mhm.
like it's always like kind of um it's always two women, I guess, because it's just really easy to illustrate like female bonding and like a teenage girl and like another teenage girl, one who doesn't have many friends. Like it's really easy to kind of sell that, I guess,
Yeah.
if it was two young guys that are in high school. But I'd be curious if this ever happened in like
Yeah.
another way. But I'd just be curious of that story. And then I said, and they made two after this. They made it like kind of a trilogy. I think
Okay.
they didn't mean to, but they were both straight to video. I have not seen them, but I've seen trailers for both, and no, like it is not on par. Kat Shea does not direct them, and
Okay.
Alyssa Milano was the Ivy type character in the second one, and Jamie Presley was the Ivy type character in the third one. It's almost like what they did with Cruel Intentions.
Okay.
You know how they made like two or three,
Yes.
but like they were not attached to like that first classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, so they did that. So that was also in my behind the scene notes, was one of them, which was the original ending that they had for the film is the Cat Shay really wanted Ivy to get away with it and be like hitchhiking down a road.
Okay.
And which I think obviously would have been like really fucking cool if
Yeah.
she just got away with it and just like left. But New Line, the production company, this is just all from like what I read, they insisted that Ivy be punished for her crimes, like her to not get away with it.
She's a
And then
naughty girl.
yeah, right.
You
Like she
know.
has to be punished. We can't tell people that they can do this and it's okay. They just get
Mhm.
away with it. So even though that would have been way more interesting, but like so then that's what they did. They like, had her die. Sorry, spoiler alert if you haven't seen this film. They had her die at the end. But then New Line wanted to revive the character and wanted Kat Shea to like be involved. And I was like, well, if they already decided to kill her, what were they planning on doing? How
Yeah.
are they going to revive the character? I mean, I don't. If they should have had it like Cat Shea originally wanted it if they wanted it somewhat open, because then it would have been easy for you. She just went to a different town, and then you could like
Yeah.
have Drew Barrymore in it again. But now, when they wanted her to be punished so much, but then they're like, oh, we want to make it a trilogy. Cat Shea said no. She's like, I'm not going to be involved. So then she wasn't, and then she said she later regretted it because like maybe she could have done something cool
Yeah.
for the other two. Like who knows if she had to write it. So yeah, that's one of my notes that I had for behind the scenes. Do you have anything?
So apparently this was also partially based on a true story.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this is me stealing the note directly from IMDb, but it was based on an experience that producer Melissa Goddard had when she was younger. She had a friend stay with her and her family, and eventually the friend seduced Goddard's stepdad.
Wow. That's literally like a 90s like Cinemax movie, like After Dark, which is essentially what this film is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
let's be real. Like that's kind of like the way they filmed it too. But yeah, that's crazy.
Um, oh, and apparently this was also Leonardo DiCaprio's first movie as well.
His first glimpse, I think, as a
Mhm.
feature. Like I think walking out of the school, literally just walking down a set, not even a set of stairs. You don't think you even see him that fast. He just like walks out of the door with like
Oh,
a
wow.
rugby shirt on and like jumps down and like that's it. Like no talk, no nothing. But he's like credited as Guy in the film, in the credits in the end. I was like, oh, so they had to get in that like he was in it. And I was like, he didn't even have like he wasn't even there when that dog was dying in the very
Oh,
beginning.
yeah.
Kids were standing around. I was looking to be like, oh wait, is he here? Maybe he's here because those kids don't talk, but I can see them. But no, he wasn't even there. He was literally just in that bit where he like walks out. But Leo was already on Growing Pains, so I think he was already on TV at
Okay.
that point because he was like, I don't know, at 92, was he like 15 or something like that?
I think
He
so.
was like old, not old, but like he wasn't a kid. So yeah, it's really funny.
And I guess he made What's Eating Gilbert Grape like the next year or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, what was that like 93?
I think so.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so then. He was nominated for an Oscar for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He was. Um, I oh so Sarah Gilbert was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for this movie.
That's cool. She was really good.
Yeah.
I really
Um,
like her. And so she was on Roseanne at the time. So like she was kind of the draw,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Drew Barrymore was kind of like, well, no, she was also a draw too.
Yeah.
But I think Drew Barrymore was like she was young. Like she was in ET, when she was like a kid, and I think she was in something else she was in too when she was really young.
Which she was in Fire.
Firestarter?
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Yeah, I
so.
was gonna say something in like the early 80s. So yeah, then I think this might be the first thing she did as like somewhat a teenager,
Okay.
right? Because I think we were talking about it before off air that like she had this very tumultuous childhood, like in and out of rehab, like really young.
Yeah.
So I think this was the movie she probably did like after all of that because she was emancipated at 15 and she's 16 when they did this.
Okay.
So yeah. So yeah, that's so it was a big deal, I guess, that she was like doing a more dramatic role, but she was really good in this.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought so.
Um, oh, I just have a note that said producers wanted a teenage Fatal Attraction.
Mm.
So like this is one of the early ones because The Crush is in 95 or no 94,
93, I think.
93, whatever. It's after this.
Yeah.
So like Fear was in 96.
Mhm.
So like this one I don't even know when Fatal Attraction was. Was that in the 80s?
I
Was that
think,
like 89?
I think it was 87.
Okay, so then it had been out, but I know like what was the other one there? Basic Instinct.
Yeah, and so I think that came out the same year as this.
Yeah, like 91, 92. That
Yeah,
was like the newer one. Michael Douglas was like the king of this genre for the
yeah.
adult. He was literally in like every like erotic thriller, like Michael Douglas was there.
there were also like there are also a couple of those like Alec Baldwin movies, like Sliver and like Malice and
Oh
like
yeah. I don't think I've ever seen those.
I don't think I have either,
I think
but
Sliver's on Netflix. I think I bookmarked it because I was like, ooh, this looks cool. It's just like one of those 90s like thrillers.
yeah, I think that's one that takes place in like a luxury like high rise apartment complex or something.
Oh, they always do. You know what I just watched? I just watched The Devil's Advocate. with
Oh,
Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves. Have you seen that?
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's fucking whoa. What the fuck was that shit? I was like, this is some weird culty shit. Like, and Keanu Reeves has definitely done some weirdo films in like the mid
Yeah.
90s, like between Speed and The Matrix.
Mhm.
Because I think essentially, like, after he turned The Matrix 2 down, Hollywood was like, oh, really? Like, because they thought that he was going to be like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Or so then anyway, so then he was just like doing a bunch of like really cool random shit, which I think is what Keanu does really best. And then of course he did The Matrix, which was fucking dope. But
Yeah.
he's a really good, like strong and silent type like action hero, like John Wick, like
Mhm.
he's just really good at that. But I want to review Point Break 'cause I love Keanu.
Oh, yeah,
Um
too.
I want to see what's that film he did with River, not Idaho, isn't it like Parenthood?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Was
yeah,
River in that? Or
yeah,
was just
yeah,
Keanu in that?
yeah. It's good because Diane Weiss and Martha Plimpton are in that too.
Wait, and River Phoenix is in that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, I want to see that. That's in the 80s. I don't know if I'll review it, but I actually want to see that. Is
Yeah,
that's from the 80s, right?
yeah. I think it came out '89. I want to say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um,
Sweet. Oh, and I have also that the budget was $3 million, which is like kind of high, I think,
yeah.
for back then. And then it only made 1.8 at the box office, but it was only in like 20 theaters. It was like a
Okay.
super limited release, so I don't think that's that bad
Yeah.
for there to be like that many theaters. Like I think it's
One
pretty good.
1.8 million also was a lot more like money back
Yeah,
then.
true. Yeah,
Like it
true.
went farther. I mean, I guess it kind of had. I guess I would, it was probably split between like the producers and the
And like the
studio.
actors,
Yeah,
yeah. 'Cause they filmed it in LA, so I don't think they had to like no one had to stay anywhere. They
yeah,
probably like were living at home and they could just drive to the sets. It wasn't like they had like to go to location and like pay for that. So like 3 million seems to be like they had to have the house, really.
yeah,
They kind of needed to rent that house and then, rent some like other not really just the streets and stuff, because that's the only place you really see. And the tattoo shop, all that.
yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any more behind the scenes notes? That's all I
No,
really
no, I don't believe so.
cool.
Um,
Cool, cool. All right, I'm gonna get into the plot points.
okay.
So the opening titles are really weird.
Oh yeah, so we have this like sultry erotic jazz music,
Yeah,
and
this
then
weird sax throughout the entire thing. I was like,
and
this is
then
weird.
and then we like have this very like suggestive shot of Ivy on a swing, and and like Sir Gilbert doing a voiceover, and it's just it certainly sets a tone.
It definitely does. Like, and it's really like her description of Ivy
Yeah,
is just like she was just like wild and free and blah 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 and like and immediately and I wrote like Ivy's outfit, like her attitude. She's got these like brown cowboy boots, and then you don't really see her face, and in the end you see it's like Drew Barrymore with the most like amazing hair ever.
yeah,
And she's just like, hey. She's like, and she just every okay, spoiler alert, every outfit that Drew Barrymore wears in the entire film is so awesome.
yes,
Like
yes.
like
I
it's almost to the point where I couldn't even keep up
I
because every time she was on screen, I was like, she looks amazing.
I felt like I don't know who did the like costumes for this movie, but like I thought that whoever did was just like brilliant.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I didn't. I actually have to write it down now that you bring it up.
mhm.
But I was like, okay, I was like, well, we'll actually get to the fashion, but I wrote Cooper reminds me immediately of Jane in Daria.
Yeah,
And also kind of like just like who she is. Like she just and also reminds me of Daria too, because she goes to this like private school. Okay, so apparently we meet Ivy in like the principal's office, kind of like outside, and she's just like, what happened to you? Like, what'd you get in for? And then she's like, oh, I called in a bomb threat.
yeah,
Like on my dad, who's like this newscaster who, in back then, he would be on like, now he'd be on like Fox News, but
yeah,
apparently, like, this like newscaster. He had an editorial, and he talked about how like teenagers like shouldn't get driver's licenses until they're 21
Yeah.
because they're like hormonally unstable. It's like you're about to bang a teenager. Like I can't even like get into this. Like you are so wrong. Like that this dad, all right,
Yeah.
this dad has got like super issues, and she, I mean, it's nuts. So first of all, I don't think she really goes there.
What?
But do you think she does, Ivy?
I I don't
I had
know.
this
Like,
I had the suspicion that she didn't, but she did come from like the office, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, she we did get like a backstory, but I just don't
The aunt.
at some point, but I just don't really believe it. Like,
No, because like she's like, oh yeah, my aunt doesn't care like where I am, but she never moved like a suitcase in when she moves in with them.
yeah, I mean, it's very possible that she was is just a drifter who like floats from like town to town and like just kind of shows up at high schools and kind of like like
Yeah, but it's a private school.
yeah,
So
okay,
I think she's on a scholarship.
yeah.
I think because that's what she tells them, and then that's what like the
It
parents are like
it
they're
it
like impressed by it.
it is possible that she's also an undercover journalist who's trying to
Like in Wet Hot American Summer. Or I forgot what I think it's like in the Netflix show where like Elizabeth Banks is like this older, like she's like a journalist, but she's like like disguising herself as like a camp counselor to like write this
yeah.
Rolling Stone article about like how to be like what's going on in the summer. It's really funny.
Yeah, there is also that Drew Barrymore movie, Never Been Kissed.
Oh, that's right, which I haven't seen.
It's
I
it's
was just talking to Di about that in the last one.
it's weird because it's supposed to be a lighthearted like comedy, but it's kind of
It's
fucked
kind of
up.
dark,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, like some of these other films have been like now that I think about it, so like this movie's like pretty fucking dark. Like I
yeah.
mean, we know anyway that it is dark, but it's really dark.
Mm,
So I wrote like it's kind of she called her the bomb threat into her dad's news station kind of badass.
yeah,
And then we get to like the first weird thing is like the dad is picking up I'm Coop is what they call her. I mean her name's Sylvia Sarah Gilbert, but Coop I think
yeah,
is what they call her. So Coop's getting picked up by the dad in like this Benz or whatever, and then she's just like, like Ivy comes down with her, and they're like, "Oh, cool, we're gonna be friends." And then she's like, "Hey, can you give my friend a ride?" And it's like this super weird scene. And then Ivy's like, "I get car sick, like I need to sit in the front," and I was like,
sounds
"Okay,
like
this is."
ugh. All right,
Ugh. Okay, this is weird. And then I was like, she's definitely like older. They're supposed to be 17, I think.
okay,
And I was like, she's definitely just seems like she's like 25 and she's done this before.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's very possible.
yeah. So like I was like, okay, where is she going? And then he like doesn't he does he take her home? She goes to like one intersection or something.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's like it's super weird, but I was like, okay, weird scene in the dad with the dad in the car, and I was like, yeesh. And then of course Coop tells Ivy that she's adopted
yeah,
and that like Ivy is not her real name, so we know that. And she's like, "Oh no, I like Ivy," because she's like, "Oh, what's your real name?" And then she's like, "I like Ivy. It's cool." So because she has that cross, that Ivy cross tattoo.
yeah,
Uh, it's like a peel on though, right?
yeah, yeah,
'Cause she gets the real one later. Um, and I was like, this is so weird. We also find out that she has money because we go to like her house and we see this like giant house that she has, which is really like on this hill, got these huge windows. It's really cool.
yes.
It's super, super cool.
It's not my favorite house. Like I thought the architecture was like a bit garish and
It
kind of
was pretty over the top.
yeah, yeah. But like the view from the mom's room, I thought was really great.
The
Um,
windows were pretty. I mean, and like the windows in the house in general, because even in the living room they have that big window,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they just have these big like huge glass and like curtains.
yeah.
Like it's very big windows.
Yeah, and I guess you get like a great view of the city and like the hills. Like, so were they in like the
They're in
hill?
the valley, I
Oh,
think.
the valley. Okay,
I think they're in the valley, like on the other side of the hill, because they're not looking into like Hollywood.
okay, okay.
Yeah, they're not in like Beverly. They're not in Beverly Hills. I think they're in the valley side, which is still cool. I mean, they're still in the hills and stuff. Because I know when the dad was at work and or they had the party or something at the house, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, man? Oh, I thought you'd own like half the valley by now."
Oh, okay, okay.
Like, I think that station must be in the valley, the news station that he works for.
Yeah,
I'm getting the impression of that that's the case, but and then we see her mom, Coop's mom, and she has emphysema at 38,
yeah,
which is so crazy that she's that young and that she has it. So she kind of like said that her parents were her adopted parents, and we find out that they're her like birth parents,
yeah.
and she's like super embarrassed by them. And then it's just like Ivy also says that her mom died in her 40s, I think, like alcoholism or like,
Mhm.
or did she commit suicide or
I
something like that?
Yeah, she was a little vague. I sort of got the sense that like because Ivy just tends to lie a lot, so I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't, or she tends to lie and like tell a lot of like half truths, like just in general. So I
Yeah, we don't really know what's true.
Yeah. So I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. I guess she's sort of a distrustful, like protagonist, or you know.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
And then she kind of like just moves in.
yeah,
Like she kind of just they're like, oh yeah, so Ivy just is staying here now. And then we get one of my favorite things in 90s films, a fucking shopping montage.
shopping montage.
I love a good 90s shopping montage. I just wrote, oh, a 90s montage.
Yeah,
And then I was like, over the next few weeks, Ivy moves in, goes through the mom's clothes, and just wears the fuck out of all those outfits.
yeah,
Those look so good. And then I said, why is the dad so leery? Like, just like in general, it's just I guess they're just kind of trying to make it. I think this is my hot take on it. Is I think that they're trying to make it seem like the dad is like sexually frustrated because the mom is sick.
yeah,
Is that kind of like what they're trying to like aim for here? That like he doesn't have a mistress. I mean, they could easily have had him with like a girlfriend when the show's like when the movie started. So that means you could tell that he was actively cheating on her. But I don't think he's actively cheating on her, but I think he's kind of like frustrated that like she's very sick and, she's like in her own room and she needs oxygen, I think. So it's
yeah.
like,
And I think that he's also just like really stressed out about work and
yeah.
like
In no way is this an excuse, but I'm
no,
just
not
trying to
at all.
find out like the reason for like why I think that they're trying to paint why he's doing this. Like that's what he thinks.
Yeah,
But he knows that it's inappropriate because she's like at school with his daughter.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's
So
really weird.
it's yeah, it's not like she's like someone who came to work at the house or something, or like an au pair, like where she's like over 18, and he just has this affair with this woman.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just really strange. But yeah, the fact that they're in school is just really weird. And then I wrote, I was like, the mom becomes really attached to Ivy, and it's like Ivy's kind of like the kind of daughter that Coop isn't. Like she's very like glammy, and she's like, I guess has more similar interests with the mom, like being glamorous and like super feminine and everything. And
yeah.
in the beginning, I think Coop says that like she told her mom she was a lesbian just for like laughs.
Mhm.
Because she was like, I just wanted to make her like really pissed off because her mom, I guess, was like super, like she was very much into like wanted her to have this like typical kind of like suburban life. And she
Yeah,
just wasn't kind of like that. Like Coop just wasn't that kind of a daughter. So then when Ivy comes in, she kind of is like, oh, I think she's kind of like the daughter that she wanted. And they kind of have this like weird bond for a while,
yeah.
which is kind of strange. And then the girls go to like a tattoo shop and they're like, oh, we're gonna get tattoos. That whole thing was so weird. And then Ivy
Oh,
like
that guy was so gross.
that
Like,
guy was so gross. And then like Ivy just starts like unleashing on Coop. Like
yeah,
she's just like, I'm really fucking sick of this. You're just like, you're just like a trust fund kid, or you're just like this rich kid who's like trying to rebel, and like you don't know shit about anything. And then she's just like, this is like probably like one of my favorite things that happens, like what interactions that happens is that she Coop is like, all right, fuck this, I'm like leaving. So she leaves and she's like, hey, can you give me like $40? I don't have any money to pay this guy. And then Coop's like, yeah, why don't you suck his dick for a discount? And then she's like, what? And then she like comes over and like gives her the money, and then she's like, hey, one of those was 100. Give it back. And then she's like holding on to it, and they have this weird tug of war. Like that's probably one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really funny that they like have, and then they kind of like make up, and then she gets that like peace sign. Like who gets that peace sign tattoo?
Yeah, I do like that bit of dialogue where I was like, I'm the asshole, and then Coop's like, but you're still my best friend.
Yeah.
And like,
It's really funny. And I wrote, does Ivy personally prey on girls with no friends? I wonder if
um,
that's like if that's one of her motives or something, or if she even knew this girl.
I mean, my guess would probably be yes.
Yeah,
I
because how
mean,
could you couldn't with anyone
yeah, I
else?
mean, this kind of scam probably wouldn't work on someone who's like a lot more socially, like, like adjusted, I guess.
Do you think that this was a scam, or do you think she like what do you think she honestly wanted? Did she want the dad to like marry her? Like what did she really want? Did she just want to like get rid of the daughter?
It's weird because like it felt like a scam, but it didn't seem like there was like an actual goal. Like she just wanted,
Yeah, right. It wasn't money.
yeah,
Like it wasn't anything like that. It was like almost like a single white female. Like she wanted to like embody this woman.
mhm,
Almost like he wanted. It's almost seemed like Ivy wanted to become the mom.
yeah,
Like after she died, she wanted to like be what she used to be
yeah,
for to him. Like it's really weird. It's very strange. But maybe that's because she just never. I mean, she never had any kind of love, Ivy.
mhm,
So like she obviously just looked for validation in like a completely wrong places.
yeah.
And that's kind of like what happened to her. Or
Um,
what happened with her and why she acts the way she does.
yeah,
And then I wrote, okay, then you get to like the dad is at work and he's like hitting the button in the elevator and then he like smashes his hand by the buttons and it all like the glass breaks and it's like bleeding on his hand.
yeah,
And then like he's at work and another coworker comes in and it's just like, hey, like, what's going on? And he's just like super fucking stressed out. And I wrote, is he a sociopath? Does he want to leave his wife?
yeah.
Like, I think he's like frustrated that his wife is so sick. And he's just kind
Yeah.
of like, fuck. I was like, this is weird.
On a personal note, as I really identified with the other coworker in this scene as someone who just like comes and is like, "Hey, what's going on?" And someone just like unleashes all their personal problems on you, and you're just like, I just wanted to know what you wanted to get for lunch. I don't want to hear all this." Like,
Is that what happens at work?
I mean, this happened to me at least twice.
I really imagine Charles's work to be like The Office, but every time I like picture that and I mention it, you're just like, it's not that fun at all. Like it is so like we don't have meetings like The Office, like where it's like no, you're like no, it's not like that. I like to just I want to
Um,
think that people who work in cubicle jobs like or like multi-office jobs are like The Office,
there,
but
there is this so there is this thing in my office called the water club where like you have to like sign up to like drink water out of the cooler, and there's like this guy who's like the water club like chairman or like head of the water club, and he takes it really seriously. And so like he'll like send out these emails and he's like, dear members of the water club, it's come to my attention that people have been not replacing the jug of water after one has been emptied. I'd like to remind people that this is one of your prime duties as a member of the water club.
what? So wait, how do they know if you like how do they know if a person who isn't in the club just comes up and grabs a cup of water?
Well, you don't, but
Yeah, so like can the president of the water club see the water cooler at all times or no?
no, I mean it's not. It's I mean the like water cooler is like kind of like in the kitchen, but like unless you're like in the kitchen, you can't really see it. So
Yeah, so like what the fuck? Anybody could go in. Are there some people who aren't in it who just drink from it?
yeah, and and then we get those emails too. Like, it's come to my attention that people have been taking water who are not in the water club.
How do they know though?
I think they have spies. Like,
They're like narcs?
yeah,
God. Wow, office politics, man. It's It's kind of crazy.
I'm just saying. I before this, I took my water for granted, but I do not anymore.
That's so funny. Um, and I wrote, okay, back to the after the dad has pulled that weird shit in the elevator. I wrote, sometimes this is really shot like a Lifetime movie. And like,
Yeah,
we all know I love a good Lifetime movie. I think we even talked about this before. That it's just probably the style of filming. I do like the way this story was and this film was done, like editing wise or like cinematography wise. There's some really cool shots
yeah,
that I really like a lot and some like cool sequences. The next bit of juicy story gossip is, I guess, Coop goes and teaches class like downtown, I think,
yes.
to like,
Oh,
underprivileged youth.
so we have that scene where, like, I guess, like, the person who Coop is volunteering for, like, calls and Ivy answers the phone,
Uh-huh.
and, like, she, like, says, "Oh, can she come to this function on so and so night?" And it's the same night as her dad's party. And Ivy looks at the calendar and says, and blatantly sees, Dad's party outlined, like,
In
highlight.
like huge
Yeah,
letters.
and Ivy's like, "Yeah, she's free." So
And they're like, yeah, I'm sure, definitely, she'll be there.
yeah,
And then of course the guy who's the volunteer comes on that night and Coop is there and Ivy's just like, oh my god. And she's like, and Coop's like, what are you talking about? You knew I had this party. You did it on purpose. And she's like, well, don't worry, I can help here. And I was like, ooh, smooth move, Ivy, getting her out of the
I
house.
know.
I was like, damn, this bitch is like crafty.
Yeah,
She's like, don't worry, I'll help out at the party. I'll drink tons of champagne and, sleep with members of the house.
yeah.
Like, God, it's so nuts. And then I was like, so Ivy gets Coop out of the house for the dad's party and purposefully dresses up in the mom's dress and looks just like her.
Oh, and she looks stunning. Like,
Amazing. The like 90s swoop, the like Kelly Taylor, like
yeah.
90s outfit hair. Like this was very much, I could definitely see a very Beverly Hills 90210 inspired. Like that red trench coat that
Mhm.
she's wearing at some point with like that white blouse, that was very Kelly Taylor,
Oh yeah,
very
yeah.
90210, or even Tori Spelling,
Mhm.
or what do you call her, Donna Martin.
Yes.
So yeah, I could definitely see that
2, 4,
90210
6,
fashion.
8. Let Donna graduate.
Wait. Oh my god! I actually finally took me like 4 years to complete 90210, like back in the day, because I think you mailed them to me.
Yeah, I think I mailed you like the first 4 seasons or something.
Yeah, it was when I was in California. I remember it took me like forever to get through them, and then I finally got through them, and then I was just like, God, like, and then now they're on Hulu or wherever they are, and I like will watch an episode, and I'm like, these scenes are like 15
You
minutes,
know,
like
like and like the episodes are so long too. Like,
they're
I
like
mean,
52 minutes
yeah,
or like 58. I was like, damn, this is
I
crazy.
I do love the storyline when Kelly becomes a cokehead and
The
so
best with Colin,
it's
the
so
one who
great.
essentially is like this artist for like older women
Yeah,
who pay him to like, he's like a gigolo. He's
yeah,
like a total gigolo, and that's how he gets blow. And then he gets Kelly is man.
yeah.
I think the episode's called like Snow Job or like something really weird where like that happens in the story. It's something like really strange. But okay, back to the party.
Okay.
She does look stunning. And then it's so weird that like Ivy is up in like the room, I think in the mom's room, like kind of like dancing around and kind of like doing whatever. And then the dad comes and they start like dancing and like embracing kind of in this weird way.
Yeah,
And wasn't that weird? And then the
yeah,
mom catches them. The
yeah.
mom like is
Um,
up and she's like walking around and then she's like she totally catches
I
them.
was like,
What
oh,
did
you
what
two
did you think?
you two just got busted. Um,
Uh-huh.
I sort of relate to this scenes on a personal note for different reasons, and that was okay. So you know how my house is like kind of hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been getting a lot of like Uber Eats deliveries, and so I've been using like the neighbor's house next door with like specific instructions to stay in the car and to not go to the front door. And so and so I'd say maybe like 3 weeks ago, I sort of just lost track. I'd ordered something like from Pizza Hut, and I just lost track of time. And so I was like, oh, they're almost here, so I had to get on my shoes and go outside. And I like got there as the delivery person was coming back down from the house, and he looked extremely confused. And the neighbor lady was out on the front porch, like, "What's going on?" And so I was like, I just got busted.
Wait, so what happened? Did you
So
tell her?
Oh yeah, so I like tried to explain. I was like, yeah, this is gonna sound really weird, but I've been using your addresses to get stuff delivered here, and and like the delivery guy was just like, this isn't 7206, right? And I was like, oh, it's not. So
So wait, was it the wrong like complete even number for that side too?
no, I like had specifically entered like her address.
Oh,
So
that's
and
so
so we
weird.
had a really awkward conversation. She was like, so what's going on? And
So did she accept it, or was she
Well,
just like,
she was just like, I didn't order any food, and I was like, oh hey, I did. And so,
"Oh my god, this is like that Seinfeld episode where Elaine used like a janitor's closet
yeah.
because this Chinese food place wouldn't deliver to her street." She like made a
So
janitor's closet in this
yeah.
apartment building.
So I was like, yeah, sorry, I've been sort of using your address because no one can find my house. And she was like, don't do it again. So
Oh wow.
I was like, I'd like to see you trying to stop me. So
Shit. So thank God no one knows where anyone lives because Charles is at war. Trying to get his fucking Uber Eats, man. God, that's so crazy.
So,
Um,
yes, and so this relates back to the scene where Ivy and Daryl get busted.
yeah, totally. Charles and his delivery driver get busted outside with like Pizza Hut. I'm like, bitch, I would have taken that. I would have been like, yeah, give it to me. Leave it on the fucking table. Like, give it to me. I want that Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut.
Mm.
I'm really hungry. I haven't really eaten much today. I've just had a ton of coffee.
Oh
So like I'm gonna be hungry in like an hour.
yeah.
Like whenever we like when we end up stopping, I'm gonna be like super hungry.
Ooh, that sounds
So
good.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna get. But wait, so now we're back in the house. They've gotten busted.
Yes.
So Ivy's dressed like the mom, and I said, then they give the mom those pills, and then Ivy comes in with 2 glasses of champagne. I'm like, this bitch just took a bunch of sleeping pills, and now you're like feeding her alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, here, let's have this. And then I love when she goes to the dad. We find out earlier that the dad has had a past drinking problem. And then she like has the 2 glasses of champagne, and then she goes to the dad and she's like, oh, that's right, you can't have any. And then she just takes it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And now to find out that it was a true story,
Yeah, I
like
know,
this
right?
probably happened. Like it's probably like exactly what happened. Maybe her dad even told her exactly what happened,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
like this was part of like writing the story because this is nuts.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, they serve her that glass of champagne. Is she dead? And then I was like, okay, so Ivy's on the mom's bed, and like some weird shit ensues.
Yeah, I'd have to say, in terms of places to like hook up with someone, this probably has to be the ballsiest place like ever.
I
Like,
also wrote, keep in mind he's totally fucking sober.
yeah,
Like that's what's crazy. Yeah, totally. I said now it's gone past the point of no return.
yeah,
Like this is fucking so weird now. So now this is like post, this is the next day, and Ivy finds the mom's old like sweet Corvette in the garage, and she's like skulking around. And then I wrote, the dad is drinking again? Question mark. He's in the kitchen with like a coffee cup, and he's got like absolute bottles sitting right next to it. Like, oh shit. Like I'm
yeah.
about to like
I do like that scene when like Coop comes in, he like quickly hides the bottle and like she asks him something, and then he
mhm.
like slips into the cabinet and like slowly opens.
I know. And she sees it and she kind of goes, I gotta go.
Hmm.
And then I think he slowly turns around and looks and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is so fucked. I'm like, this is the craziest fucking story. I was like, I love it. It's so good. Then then Coop like finds Ivy like down in the mom's car, like wearing the clothes with the fucking dog.
Yeah,
And then she's like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Like you stolen my dog. My dog like only loves me. And now like you're with him. So like let's see." So they have like a competition to like who the dog's gonna go to.
yeah.
And the dog, she has like food or something in her pocket. Ivy does, but the dog definitely goes between them both, and then eventually sides with Ivy. And she's like, "Good boy," and she's like, "Fuck you."
Oh yeah, and like Ivy gives this really like malicious smile, like after the
Mhm.
dog chooses her, and
Takes off her skirt and throws it at she throws it at fucking Coop. She's like, here's something I didn't borrow or something. It's like hers or whatever. And
yeah,
she like storms back in the house. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, she's so nuts. And then Coop is like you see her like walking, leaving the house, and she doesn't go to school. And you see her at the rope swing. And she's
mhm,
like thinking about her, and she's like, fuck man, this is so crazy, this is so weird. So she hasn't even seen them like do anything,
yeah,
but she's just like kind of freaked out. But they can't get rid of Ivy, like
yeah.
it's almost impossible.
She is she is like dug into that family like like a deer tick. Like she's like
She
not,
totally is.
she is not leaving.
She's not. She's like just like Jordan Belfort in fucking Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, "I'm not fucking leaving," and he like starts screaming. That's exactly what's happening here. Like,
Mhm,
it's definitely not going anywhere. Then I have the dad comes to pick up the girls at school, and she's like, "Coop's not here." She's like, "I'm here, and you can take me home." And then this is okay. They have this like really sexually inappropriate scene
yeah,
in like the rain. I was like, "This is too Cinemax now.
yeah.
Way too weird." Drew Barrymore's really young, and yeah, it was a bit weird. I think even when I saw it, like whenever, like 10 years ago,
Mhm.
I guess whenever I first saw it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought.
It's weird because like I was during the scene I was like, oh god, these are just horrible people, but it's like really hot too.
Dad's like not unattractive.
I
We
mean,
also
I mean,
forgot to mention that he's not unattractive.
yeah, I mean, he was one of the characters in the original movie Alien, like so
Yeah, he's also in picket fences.
yeah, yeah, and I've never seen Pig Fence, but I heard it's supposed to be good.
Yeah, I haven't fully seen it either. I was reading the description. It looks really strange.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that like I heard like in like the mid 90s it was like kind of a popular show.
It was. I remember when it was on CBS. I just didn't watch it when I
Okay.
was a kid. I think my mom watched like Northern Exposure.
Oh,
You remember
okay.
that
Yeah,
show?
yeah.
Um, and there's like some other things that she watched. I think that show was on around the same time because I remember like there were shows that my mom watched, but she didn't watch Picket Fences either. But apparently in the Middle East, it's really popular.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. So yeah, so it also was pretty hot. Agreed. Of course, it had to be fucking raining, but this is LA. Why is there like monsoon season all the time?
I guess sometimes things just happen all at once.
I guess yeah. I guess it just happens in the rain because like why wouldn't it? It's like
Yeah.
let's just keep the innuendos flowing. Like, fine, have it in the rain. So
I
then I wrote, "Oh, the rain weird seduction scene," and then I wrote, "Upon discovery, Drew Barrymore was 16 during filming." Okay,
yeah, that's a little awkward.
it's a little weird. And then I wrote, "She keeps making up with Coop. Like every time that Ivy does something wrong, she keeps like trying to get on Coop's good side because she's always like, I don't have anyone, I'm alone. Like I love you, you're all I care about." Um, and then the mom is like, you see the mom's just kind of like, God, like she kind of knows that there's something up,
Mhm.
and I think she kind of like it's just kind of strange. She's listening to the daughter's tape, that like piano tape that she made her, and then she's like standing at that window, and then fucking Ivy comes behind her, and like they're just talking or whatever. Then she pushes her, but then she has her hand,
Yeah,
and she like lets go, and the mom is fucking gone.
yeah, yeah.
And of
Um,
course, they make it seem. Oh, and when this happens, like when she, I think she hasn't fallen, but she's not there. But then Coop comes up the stairs and like hears the tape on, and
Mhm.
then she turns the tape off, but she walks out, but she doesn't see Ivy's like standing around the corner. She
Yeah,
doesn't see her mom though. She hasn't walked all the way out and like look out the window. I think she probably thought she was like in there, but then like went somewhere else. But anyway, so that she was there, so that Coop has heard this song and knows that like that's what she was listening to.
yeah,
So the mom is gone. I wrote, "This is really strange. At the funeral, why is Ivy there with the family?"
yeah.
Wouldn't you think that like at that time they'd be like, okay, well your aunt, like you have a place to stay, like we're letting you go back to your aunt, like her mom is gone.
I mean, I guess the dad can't really tell her to leave, so
I
and
guess
I
not.
guess like Cooper won't doesn't really want her to leave either. I don't know. Um, I don't know. It is
Weird.
yeah. It's pretty weird.
And I wrote Ivy sleeps in the mom's bed,
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
really super
in
strange.
in Ivy's defense, the mom's bedroom is like pretty awesome.
It
Like
is pretty nice. That fucking those pillows,
yeah,
the
like so
pillow setup.
and like like the mom has that really awesome like stereo with like the heat, with like the CD player that's like heat signature.
Yeah. And it has like that, and she has a fucking tape player.
Yeah, I know.
So cool. I was like, damn, that's fucking rad. And then I wrote, she's acting so weird. Coop must be in total shock. I was like, she's trying to be the mom now? Question mark.
I guess they're both grieving, and like I guess I was just like, if I act like the mother, then it's kind of okay. I guess I don't
But they,
know.
I was like, they slowly kind of, as it says that like everything was always about the mom. Coop is secretly didn't mind when she got sick because things were like always about her. I think she was very much like really dominating and like
Mhm.
very like glamorous, and everybody knew her for like these kind of reasons. So I think when she got sick, it just totally changed her like MO
Yeah.
and like how she acted. And it was like, because I think the girl was really ignored, the
Yeah.
girl when she was young, Coop. And then I wrote, Ivy's wearing the mom's yellow dress and looks amazing. I
Oh,
fucking love that dress.
okay. So which scene is that? Because I can't picture it off the top of my. Is
It's
okay.
when they're in the car
Oh, right. Okay.
and they
Okay.
take the mom's urn,
Yes. Okay.
and they're like, she's like, I don't want to take the car out. And then Ivy, while they're driving, Ivy starts humming that song that was on the tape that
Yeah.
day.
Mhm.
And Coop like looks over like, why are you humming that? That's the tape that I made for my mom that my dad taped for me. Like, how do you know that? And then she's like, you were there, you fucking did it. And then the fucking car crashes.
Yes.
She like on purpose. She's like fighting with her. She's like, "Oh my god, you did it! You did it!" The car fucking crashes, and then Ivy, like like savage little bitch that she is, like gets out, puts Coop in the driver's seat, and tries to like smear blood on the fucking windshield or like the steering wheel to be
Mhm.
like she was driving. Coop ends up going to the hospital,
Yeah.
and they're like the nurse is just like, oh, she's hallucinating, she's acting super crazy. The dad comes in for like 10 fucking minutes and is like, you're lying. And she's like, Ivy did it, blah blah blah, she fucking did it. And then she's like, she breaks out of the hospital super like kind of Terminator style. It
Yeah.
was
That was pretty
pretty
cool.
cool.
Like.
Yeah, like she got low and then she got into like the elevator and then she like gets to the house and okay, dude, the dad and Ivy are just plain like banging in the living room.
Yeah, like I mean, they just don't care anymore.
She comes home and the fact that there's a really long pause
Yeah,
when like you definitely know that that's your dad. So I don't, and I think they're like they're playing on the fact that she's hallucinating after this car accident. So
yeah.
she thinks it's her mom,
Mhm.
and she's like, because they obviously like her and Ivy look very similar, and then she's like, and I wrote this pause was way too long. I was like, why are the Ivy and the dad full on just saying fuck this? She's in the hospital, like she purposefully like almost tried to kill her just so she could get to the dad.
Mhm.
It was like, whoa. I was like, then they get into like the full on like final scuffle. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the film is when they're fighting and then you see that blue sapphire
Oh
that
yeah.
um that Coop always has around her necklace, and then like she kind of exactly dies the same way the mom does. Like she pushed her out, but then she was grabbing the necklace, and then you see it kind of reflected and it's all blue and like looks really crazy, and then she falls, and then obviously Ivy's like and then the dad I think was looking for the daughter, because I
Yeah,
know like yeah they were like fighting over like who's gonna look for the daughter, and the dad like she falls like right in front of the car, and
yeah.
he's just oh my god, I was like this is a lot.
Yeah, and there is like that scene when like they both see her and then they kind of try and pull themselves together and then like, they
Uh-huh.
scramble out the front door and they like kind of like they kind of like both collapse on like the steps and like
Yeah, where it's all raining and wet.
yeah, and I was like, oh, this is so sexy but so tragic.
I know,
And
right? I was like, why are you guys both arguing about his child? Like they're still acting super coupley. Like,
yeah,
"Oh, what are we gonna do about this girl? I don't know. Like, it's almost like she's the stepmom now. I'm
I
like,
know.
what?
And
He's like, no, I'll look for her. And she's like, no, I will. I was
and
like,
oh,
she's 16.
oh yeah, and then the dad like sees the bruise like on Ivy's like chest,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
that I guess proves she was in the car.
Yeah, she was driving.
Um Yeah. So because like before that there was that scene when like Coop was like kind of hallucinating in the hospital and she was like, Ivy, everything is Ivy. you know?
She did. She totally did. Yeah. So true. And then yeah, I love at the end she's just like, yeah, Ivy was like literally fucking hell on wheels and like I still miss her.
Yeah. And
I'm like,
then I guess they're supposed and then I guess the dad's just like, oh, I just lost my wife and my girlfriend.
yeah, right?
It,
And now I'm stuck with my daughter.
I'm such a loser.
My dumbass daughter. I don't even care about because he literally came 10 minutes before the end of visiting hours and then went off to beg her friend. Like, what the fuck, dude? That's just crazy. That would be mean even if she was like 35.
I
Like,
know.
your daughter's in the hospital in almost like a fatal accident with that goddamn classic car that's probably ruined.
I mean, yeah, it's horrible. That car does look like a fun car just to, like hang out in.
Dude,
Like,
me and Charles had a friend in high school whose dad had that car, and there were three boys in the family. We were friends with the baby. I think he's the baby of his brothers, and they could only drive that car. I think when they had like their license for 20 years,
oh
then
wow.
the dad would let them drive that car because his was red and white. It was older than that one, I think. It was a Corvette. I
Oh
remember seeing his driveway and being like, "Whoa." But yeah, that's so crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's do you have any more plot points to add?
I don't think so. I think that's all of it.
It's a
Um,
great film. I mean, it really is. I really like
yeah.
it a lot. I don't have too much on the location and the theme. I mean, it's basically this large Spanish type house with huge windows with billowing curtains,
Yeah.
which adds like so much drama and like weird Cinemax after dark
It
effect.
sort of has like a gothic feel to it. Like,
Yeah, it
you
does.
know.
And
Um
I wrote just like I love the way the crash was filmed too. How it was like slow mo
yeah,
when
yeah.
they end like the urn, and then you see them like and you see like the windshield. Like I like the way that was filmed, and I also like that blue reflection with the necklace at the end. I like the like it felt like a silent film because it
Yeah.
would show like one of their faces, and then it would show the other face like terrified, and then you see the blue and like you see what it is, and then it. I just like that way that was filmed a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have any notes about the location?
No, not really. I I I thought this was Los Angeles, but I wasn't like sure the whole time. It's
I think I mean, it definitely
okay.
is. It was shot in LA. I think it's supposed to take place in LA.
Because like I didn't realize the crush took place in Seattle. So like
Yeah.
so I
They showed the Space Needle in the beginning.
oh right, okay.
Was it? I know it was filmed in Vancouver, or was that?
Uh
Yeah, that was Seattle though, because I think they showed the Space Needle when
okay.
he's looking for apartments in the very beginning, like when he's driving.
Um I do love the like patio or just like how this house is like all that space outside, you know?
Yeah,
It,
it's pretty cool.
and it just seems like a fun place to kind of like wander and get lost in. Um
You know, the inside reminds me of Sarah's house in The Craft,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Spanish style and like really tall ceilings
yeah,
and like kind of like stucco.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. The music, we had touched on that, the weird 90s sax playing throughout. I wrote some random pensive 90s music as well, just throughout, but very like there's minimal music. There's just a lot of that sax.
Yeah.
Like just a lot of that. And then also that weird metalhead in the bus that gave her a ride.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was cool.
That was kind of cool. Like I forgot to touch on that. That was kind of cool. And then I wrote for the fashion. There's just so many. Like I love Ivy's first outfit, the leather jacket with like the woman on the back.
When she's on the swing.
Uh-huh. The
Yeah,
tie-dye
that's cool.
dress, the jewelry, the brown cowboy boots. I love those like small glasses that she has.
Yeah. I also love how one of her boots has like a knot that's sort of like been like chipped out of it, like
Oh,
on the
cool.
bottom. It has a lot of character.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that. I
Um,
wrote she always wears red and white and black.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those because I feel like there's at least like two or three outfits that are just like that, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Um, I
Or those like really neutral like silk 90s like Calvin Klein slips
Yeah,
that the mom I think the mom has. And then she wears like the robe and stuff too. I
yeah,
love both of their hair too.
yeah, and it's weird because everything is like fit really really well, but it's still like super flowy.
Hmm.
So it just looks very like roomy and like comfortable and
It's cool that it looks like it's like it kind of looks like it's someone else's clothes.
yeah, yeah,
Like at the same time it looks very much like, oh, like is this it's it's not hers
yeah.
for some reason. I don't know.
Um,
That's what I think.
I guess it does kind of have a feeling of a small child playing dress up, you know?
Yeah, it does. And I
Like,
think that they're more adult clothes than
yeah.
she has. Ellen Gross is the one who did the costumes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so cool. And I love the yin yang shirt that Coop has.
Yeah,
I love that red trench coat that
yeah.
Ivy has. I think it's the mom's, and she wears like the white kind of silk shirt with that like red mini skirt and those
Mhm.
black pumps. It's like so 90s. It's like so early 90s executive realness.
Yeah. It's like
um,
that I feel like Heather Locklear's character on Melrose Place wore that exact outfit at least like one
totally,
season. You know, like
totally.
I mean, like
It's so good, and I love the yellow dress too when they're in the
yeah.
car. I
Um, I
love
al-
that like neckline.
I also like I really liked the earrings that she wore at the party, like those like
Oh yeah,
square kind of I don't know if they were rubies, but like those red jewels.
yeah, they
Um,
were really cool.
and then I liked in the scene when like her dad gives her a ride when they meet for the first time, how she's wearing like that yellow like mini skirt with like
Yeah,
I don't know what you call them. I guess they're like kind of like cut out like appliques on over the top.
yeah, and I love in the very beginning when you first meet her, she has that like red velvet shirt,
Yeah,
and it's like tied, and then she has like this weird like mini skirt
yeah,
or something. It's like a tight mini skirt. She just dresses so cool.
yeah,
And then they go to that thrift store one time, and then I know that Coop always wears like low Doc Martens and like socks and like tight. She's very much like Jane from Daria,
yeah. She
like her outfits.
like she also does that thing to her hair that she says it's like
Oh, that
Egyptian.
weird shave.
And I was like, wait, what is that?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the eye, like that
oh,
eye in Egypt.
okay, I get it.
I'm trying to think of like what's it called?
Oh, like the Eye of Ra.
Eye of Horus.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, I think is it the same? Is it Eye of Ra too?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know it's the Eye of Horus is similar to the Eye of Ra, but I think it's Eye of Horus that she has.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, it's so cool. Do you have any more fashion notes?
I don't think so.
What are your favorite scenes?
My favorite scenes. I do like Ivy's death scene at the end. Like it just feels very like dreamlike, and you know, like I guess like Coop like has like that head injury, so I just kind of love how she's like she is kind of like hallucinating, and like she thinks her mom is there, and then you know
Yeah,
it's kind of gets like
I wrote that's one of mine too. I wrote the end scene,
um
like
and
dreamy.
and as as scuzzy as it is, I felt like that rain hookup scene was like really hot. Like,
Yeah, it was pretty hot, I have to say. I mean, and it's cool too that this is also like directed by a woman, which
yeah,
is
it
kind of
is.
interesting too.
Um, I think those are like I think those are like the two that like come to mind.
I wrote the 90s shopping scene because I just love those kind of like we're having fun spending money in the 90s.
I
Like I love the clothes one. Like I love a good shopping
it
montage.
it's like the best part of like it's like one of the best part of like 90s movies, you know.
Totally. It's like shopping montages and like when people are in love.
Yeah,
Those montages too. Those are always really good. And then I wrote the end scene with the blue sapphire. And we'll add the hookup in the rain. That was pretty legendary.
yeah. I mean
For the time.
it's weird because like you it's super sexy, but it you also kind of have a desire to bathe after you watch it.
Kinda, yeah. It's very lifetimey.
Yeah,
Like it's very like I don't know. It feels very like mature.
yeah,
I guess because he's like old
yeah.
and he like knows it's wrong and it's just kind of like, but then they do it again.
I know.
You know
Well,
what I mean? Like she catches them.
I like, still can't get over the fact they hooked up like on her bed while she was in it.
Yeah, yeah, and she wasn't dead, which
I
would be
know.
horrible if she was dead too. But like, it was just really bad. I wrote, okay, so what are your worst scenes? Do you have any?
Um. Well. um.
What is it? It's like also the car scene.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
I
the
don't know
worst.
that scene with the dogs made me feel kind of uncomfortable.
The
Like,
beginning.
um. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Was she like
I
mercy killed that dog?
yeah. I did look like that kid who just kind of like popped. He was like, "Hey guys, a dog got hit. Come on."
Oh yeah, I thought that was Leo. I was like, is this gonna be Leo?
um yeah I didn't like the whole like battle of like, Fred, come here, you love me, no, you love me, love me,
The
Fred, love me, you know, like
I love that the dog torture is infinitely more disturbing than like this like high school girl sleeping with a grown man
I mean, you know, a grown man is, you know, a,
with a sick wife.
a a grown man with a sick wife is kind of hard to feel bad for. Sorry.
Yeah,
You know, and not to mention he's like a conservative douchebag.
yeah, he
So
totally is. Wants people
yeah,
like teenagers not to have licenses.
I was like, oh God.
Gross. Like, why? Who cares? My two worst scenes were the car scene with the dad in the beginning, because like, ew. Like
Yeah,
he just met her. Like that's what weirded me out. And then of course I wrote the tattoo shop guy, and I was like, why are guys all so gross? like
yeah.
like he just couldn't be a regular. It would be weird enough if she pulled like just a like I want to be like your daughter, like
Mhm.
in the film, you know, like if the story was going that way, like she just became so obsessed with this family idea that she wanted to kill the mom to just be in the family. But the whole like sexual component from the beginning just makes it weird
It's yeah,
because it's like she's when she was like, oh, I have to sit in the front, I was like, okay, that's already weird because you don't know him. But then the way she's like looking at him, and then they were talking about like, do you need to buy condoms too? Like they just started in on this conversation about condoms
yeah,
in the car, and like he just met her at like, and the girl was like, oh, it's my best friend, and then started talking about like spermicidal foam and all this like weird shit, and he's like, what? And she's like, oh no, it's okay, it's just for a project for school. And I was like, okay, this is strange. Like this is how they intro it. So I was like, why? It just was so creepy.
yeah.
I think at first, so I was like, ugh, weird. Yeah. Do you have any good quotes from the film?
I'm trying to think. I like the dialogue that they have like in like the tattoo shop. That's like
Huh?
it's kind of like, you know, fuck you, you're a whore. I hate you, but but I love you. Can we still be friends? All right. Oh, can I also have money? Sure.
I know.
So
That's pretty good. I wrote I have three. The famous one is like one day with the top down is better than a lifetime in a box.
yeah,
Is what Ivy says about like her mom. Like her mom just never enjoyed life. Like who cares if like it's raining? Like put the top down and fucking live your life, man. Which is clearly what she's doing, just preying on these like Middle-aged men,
Yeah.
just like doing whatever. And then I wrote, what's more important, death or friendship? And then another one that she says, fuck you with a limp dick. I like those. Those are my
um,
favorite quotes.
I do also like Coop's like quote at the end, like
Hmm.
it's like after Ivy's finally dead, and I'm like, oh, thank God, this movie's almost over. Like, but I did like how she was like, yeah, I still think about her, and I still miss her.
Yeah, I mean, she's super damaged.
Yeah.
Sure, she's like super damaged. And do you have any 90s moments?
Oh yes. Okay, so I have a couple. So
Yeah, what are they?
I mentioned it before, but I love the mom's stereo. That's like the heat.
Yeah.
That's like the heat. That's like the heat activated like CD player.
Don't they have that in Nip Tuck? Is that what they like wave it and the thing opens?
Yeah. No, I remember being in San Francisco when I was about 10, and like my mom and I were hanging out with like some cousin who one of her cousins who was like somehow related to me. And like she like had one of those like stereos that was like heat activated, and it just like
Ooh.
blew my mind. I was like, "Oh my God, the future has arrived!"
Oh,
Um,
wow.
um,
Cool.
and then I did like that scene like just before they were about to hitchhike when they like saw her dad on like the televisions in like the pawn
Oh,
shop.
yeah,
And
in the window.
yeah, and they just like well they're just like super old TVs, and they just like have like backs on them, and so it just I was like, oh, I miss old televisions.
Yeah, I wrote the TV with the dad, like at the end with an editorial is
Yeah,
so 90s because now they have cable TV.
yeah,
So now there's tons of people who editorialize for a living. And this was like a special thing because he gave it on like the big news, like the local news or whatever.
yeah,
Then I wrote just the fashion was super 90s, like the
yeah,
docks, the leggings, we talked about it, like her outfits and everything. And then, yeah, that's all I have. And you totally right with the stereo.
yeah.
I didn't see a TV in their house though. Not
Yeah,
that I could,
I neither.
which is kind of surprising.
Uh,
But they would have one of those big screen TVs, like rich people in the 90s would have like those big, like the ones that would stand on the ground, like they were
yeah,
huge,
yeah.
old, like they were just massive. They're so heavy too.
Oh, I know. Like,
They were like so heavy.
um, that's one of the things I do not miss about '90s televisions is like,
Fucking massive. Yeah, I still have one. I still have like a combo VCR one, and it's only a 13-inch, but it's like fucking 50 pounds. Like it's
oh,
so heavy. It's super crazy. Well, yeah, that's all I have for the movie. I will not be reviewing the follow-ups, the sequels. If you want to watch them, go for it. But this is definitely the standard, I think, and I'm super bummed that Kat Shea didn't get to like do any more with the story or kind of like help it move along to have another life because I think but it's good, just the first one is just really good.
yeah. Did
It's the beginning of Drew Barrymore, so
did she make any movies after this that?
that we would know.
Yeah.
I know that, let's see, I don't know the credits that she has. She's done a few things, I think. After that, she did Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater. She was a director on a TV show. Last Exit to Earth in '96. She directed Rumble. No, The Rage Carrie 2, the second
Oh,
Carrie.
I I
Um,
I actually saw that.
oh wow, okay, so she did that.
Okay.
She wrote Rumble in the Streets in '96. She also did, let's see, Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase.
Okay.
She directed that. That was 2019. That's the last that I've seen here.
Okay.
So yeah, she's
Okay.
probably done like some other stuff. Who knows? But yeah, that movie's so good, and I can't imagine. She was also, I think she was like in some things. Yeah, she hasn't like herself as an actress. But yeah, Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase is the last thing she directed. That was like a PG film
Okay.
for kids that came out last year. So yeah. Cool. Well, I'm super excited to talk about Poison Ivy. We're gonna do Single White Female next, so
Yay.
get excited. Yeah, as always, like and subscribe, do all that fun jazz, listen to it wherever. If you're on Apple, then give us 5 stars. And yeah, I will see you all on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.